The phenomenon of UFO abductions has fascinated and perplexed people for decades. What drives these mysterious encounters between humans and extraterrestrial beings? Are they a product of vivid imaginations or something more profound? To unravel this mystery, we'll be exploring top 5 well-documented cases, examining witness accounts and, where possible, the scientific analyses conducted on these perplexing experiences. Number 5. Traviswalton, Fire in the Sky, 1975.
And I looked up ahead and I saw this kind of glow coming through the trees. First I thought, no big deal, you know, it was deer hunting season. Thought maybe there was some hunters camped up on the hill up there. But when we burst into the clearing where we could see the source of this glow, it was just, whoa, you know, I mean, it was just mind-blowing instantly.
Our first stop on this extraterrestrial journey takes us back to November 5th, 1975, in the Sitgreaves National Forest of Arizona. The case of Traviswalton, recounted in the movie Fire in the Sky, is one of the most famous UFO abduction stories. Walton, a logger, reportedly encountered a luminous UFO while working with his crew, leading to an event that would change his life forever. Walton's account, supported by multiple crew members, describes his close encounter with the UFO and subsequent abduction. The crew reported seeing a beam of light shoot out from the craft, striking Walton and rendering him unconscious. When they returned to the site minutes later, both Walton and the UFO were gone. In the aftermath of the incident, skeptics questioned the credibility of Walton's story. However, scientific analysis of the events, including polygraph tests administered to Walton and his crew, revealed consistent and truthful responses. This case remains a compelling mystery, with the scientific community divided on its interpretation. Number 4. Betty and Barney Hill, the first documented abduction, 1961.
I'm Betty Hill, and my husband Barney and I were the first to be abducted by astronauts from another solar system.
I don't know where we are. I don't even know how we got here. I was afraid when I saw the middle of the road.
Fasten your seatbelts as we travel back to 1961, where Betty and Barney Hill, a married couple from New Hampshire, experienced what is widely considered the first documented case of UFO abduction. Their story, filled with chilling details, has become a cornerstone in UFO abduction lore. After a night drive, the Hills reported seeing a strange craft in the sky. Overwhelmed by fear, they described being taken aboard the UFO, where they underwent medical examinations by beings they believed to be extraterrestrial. Betty and Barney's detailed recollections, obtained through hypnosis, revealed a consistent and haunting narrative. Naturally, skeptics questioned the validity of the Hills account, attributing it to stress or imagination. However, the couple's steadfastness and the similarities in their recollections, even under hypnosis, intrigued researchers. Despite skepticism, this case laid the groundwork for future investigations into the enigmatic world of UFO abductions. Number 3. Allagash Abductions, a group encounter, 1976.
For twin brothers in New England, their experience of abduction fits this pattern, but along with the terror, they are also manifesting strange new abilities they didn't have before.
I'm not going in there, no f***ing way. Just leave me alone. I don't believe it.
Our next stop takes us to the serene wilderness of Allagash in Maine, where 4 young men, Jim Weiner, Jack Weiner, Charles Foltz, and Charles Rack, had a camping trip turn into a perplexing encounter. In 1976, their shared experience would become one of the most compelling group abduction cases on record. While on a canoeing expedition, the group reported seeing a bright light in the sky. As they paddled towards it, they claimed to witness a UFO. Little did they know that this encounter would lead to missing time and shared memories of being aboard the craft, subjected to examinations by otherworldly entities. After the incident, the Allagash abductees underwent separate polygraph tests conducted by different experts. Remarkably, the results indicated consistency among their accounts. This case poses intriguing questions about the nature of abduction experiences when shared by multiple witnesses. Number 2. Whitley Strieber, Communion, 1987.
It hadn't occurred to me that the alien outlook hadn't really crossed my mind, and I told him to describe these little people. He leaned back in his chair and said, "You're telling me you're taking me on a flying saucer by little men?" And there was also a lot of pain in the side of my head where they'd put a needle into my head. Then I had a brain scan, and there's a mark inside my brain at the point where the needle went in.
This case brings us to the personal experiences of author Whitley Strieber, whose 1987 book Communion became a bestseller. Strieber's account is not only a tale of abduction, but also an exploration of the psychological and emotional impact of encountering the unknown. Strieber described being taken from his cabin by small humanoid beings with distinct features. His recollections include intrusive medical procedures and encounters with entities that defy conventional explanations. Communion opened a new chapter in the public's perception of alien abductions, sparking debates about the nature of memory and reality. Psychologists have analyzed Strieber's experiences, exploring the intersection of trauma, memory, and the human psyche. Whether interpreted as a psychological phenomenon or a genuine extraterrestrial encounter, Strieber's story continues to captivate and challenge our understanding of the unknown. Number 1. The Pascagoula Abduction, a waterside encounter, 1973.
And it was 3 bulky-looking creatures shot immediately or something in my arm, and that just calmed me. It's like a calming agent. So this thing carried me to the steps of the craft.
Let's turn our attention to our final case that not only shook a small Mississippi town, but reverberated across the nation, the Pascagoula Abduction. It was a quiet October evening in 1973 when 2 co-workers, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, embarked on a fishing trip along the Pascagoula River, blissfully unaware that their lives were about to intersect with the inexplicable. As Hickson and Parker fished from a pier, their serene night took a bizarre turn. According to their accounts, a blinding light descended upon them, and 3 humanoid beings emerged from the craft. The entities, described as robotic and lacking visible eyes, floated the 2 men into the craft, subjecting them to a series of examinations that defied earthly comprehension. The Pascagoula Abduction gained immediate attention, attracting both curious onlookers and skeptical critics. News outlets broadcast the story across the country, and the case became a focal point for those on both sides of the UFO debate. Skeptics questioned the credibility of the witnesses, while believers saw it as a groundbreaking case that demanded serious consideration. Decades later, Charles Hickson's unwavering account and his subsequent openness about the experience have kept the Pascagoula abduction in the public eye. Today, you can find interviews and clips on various platforms, making it one of the most accessible and discussed UFO abduction cases on YouTube and beyond. As we conclude our exploration into documented UFO abductions, remember that these stories exist on the fringes of our understanding. Whether you approach them with skepticism or an open mind, the accounts of those who claim to have experienced these phenomena remain a mystery. What's your take on these cases? Share your thoughts below and join us on our next adventure into the realms of the unexplained.